I'm the staff hearing officer, and I'm going to call the meeting of Wednesday, February 11th to order. Today we have 3 items on the agenda, and we have a request for item B, which is 2511 Morel, to go first. So that's fine to hear that first. Was there any other requests for changes to the agenda? Okay. Is there any announcements for appeals?
There are not.
All right. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to address the staff hearing officer on items not on the agenda? Seeing no one, we'll go to item B, which is now A, 2511 Morel, if the applicant would like to come up to the table.
Thank you very much. Project site located on the Mesa. It's about 8,879 square feet of lot area. Here's Morel Road, 2-car garage, and the existing residence up here towards the front of the lot. The proposed project involves 122 square feet of additional floor area for the residents. They'll both be single-story additions. One here closing in of the entry for an addition of 22 square feet, and an expansion of an existing bedroom master bath of 100 square feet. The applicant is proposing a uniform addition with the existing portions of the bedroom, which we can better see here on the floor plan, with the green identifying the existing residence and the orange showing the expansion. The existing house is currently non-conforming with a 5-foot interior yard setback, so the applicant is asking for a modification to construct the addition at the existing 5-foot setback instead of the required 6. Staff's position that these types of modifications are necessary to secure appropriate improvements of uniformity on sites, and we routinely support these types of requests. It's a single-story addition, matches the existing house. The windows added into this portion as well as into the existing house will be clear story. They'll be located up high on the building, so they should not have any impacts associated with privacy or impacts to the neighbor. We are asking that those windows be fixed to further provide the buffer zone, which is intended by the ordinance in allowing alterations or in not allowing alterations within the interior setback. Staff is asking for approval of this project as submitted with the fixed windows.
And the fixed windows are okay for the building code, since there's other...
Both bedrooms, as you can see, have their emergency egress windows provided. This wall currently has no window openings at all.
And we have proper separation of buildings, too, per code.
All right. You want to state your name and association with the project?
Lori Kari, the architect for the project. And we are asking for operable windows. We're asking for awning windows and to provide some cross ventilation for the 2 bedrooms. And we would even ask for 2 out of the 3 to be operable because they're small and high in the wall, and they wouldn't be fully open because they are awnings. It's more for the provision of the ventilation, and because it also faces a blank wall, or both sets of windows face a blank wall on the neighbor's side. So
2 out of which 3 windows? I see 2 new ones.
well, there's a triple
Oh, I see 2 out
and a
of the
triple
3 in the set. Okay. All right.
or some variation on that.
Okay. So then what you're saying is that you don't agree with the condition. You would like the condition not to be placed on the project if it was approved.
Well, we're just asking for that, and your consideration of it. If you choose to ask for them to be fixed, we will go along with that.
Okay.
Just a request.
Okay. I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to address the staff hearing officer on 2511 Morel Road? No? Have we received any letters?
We have not.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing. I've read the staff report, and I went out to the site, and the property owner was very nice. She let me in, and I walked around the backyard and looked at the area. And I agree with staff regarding the addition. It's a modest house, and the addition is small, and it's 1 story, and there's only 5 square feet that is actually in the setbacks. So I believe it is an appropriate improvement to extend the house line. It wouldn't make sense to jog it in a foot and then go back down. In regards to the windows, I understand that there are no openings currently on the adjacent house. On the photos here you can see. However, they do have the option of putting in windows at a later date too.
Correct.
So I would have the same concern of allowing those windows to be operable. And I understand your desire for having them operable. However, I think I would need to go along with the staff recommendation and require them to be fixed. And so, given all that, I agree with the staff's recommendation, and I can make the findings outlined in the staff report and approve your modification requests with the condition. My action is appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 calendar days, and they also have oversight authority, and they review my actions, and within that same 10-day appeal period, they can decide to call this item up if it warrants it and have a public hearing before the Planning Commission, and if that were to happen, Ms. Milazzo would contact you. Okay?
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I don't think we're going to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next project is the item that is listed as A on the staff report, or I mean on the agenda, and that is 633 De La Vina Street. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Okay. This project site is an 8,500 square foot property currently developed with an 8-unit apartment building. It's situated on the corner of De La Vina and Ortega Street. Proposed improvements for the site involve a major remodel and improving the lower level units for ADA, Americans with Disability Act, access, which will require raising the grade of these lower level areas so that direct access into the units can be accomplished. An access ramp will also be added to the front of the building at the same grade. The project needs a modification for 2 architectural elements which are being added here. There are concrete columns that are documented. I was going to say that by the elevation. This entry surround is being created on the building as a part of the architectural improvements to formally announce where the main entrance is. Because it does encroach into the front yard setback, the current building exists right at the 10-foot property line. It does require a modification approval. During our early consultations with the applicant, we had provisions in our code that allowed for architectural projections 2 feet into the setback, but by the time the application was actually submitted, our ordinance amendments had gone through, no longer allowing for this automatically, and therefore the applicant had to come through for the modification. Staff supports the request in that it does not add any additional floor area to the site, intensify the number of units. It simply is an architectural amenity for an improved architectural design. We support this project as it was submitted.
Thank you. I don't have any comments for you right now. If you guys would like to state your name and association with the project for the record.
Christine Prone, project architect.
This is Skip Samansky, Housing Authority, City of Santa Barbara.
And I think Ms. Milazzo accurately described our request. I'd just add that we were really prohibited by doing anything inboard of the 10-foot line to create a better entry because of an existing stair door that would have generated a much more intensive upgrade to the building. So this was, for us, the best way to accomplish an improved entrance without causing more and more alterations to the existing building.
What was ABR's comment here where it says increase the thickness of the columns as much as possible at the arch colony?
Along here.
Okay, so that's not this arch.
Correct.
So it's, okay, it's that one.
And this one is with the ADA access ramp. It's defined by other requirements.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. When I went out to the site, I noticed your trash is in this area, and now it's being relocated outside. That's a positive. Okay. I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anybody here who'd like to address the staff hearing officer on 633 De La Vina Street? No? Have we received any letters?
We have not.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. I have to admit, when I read the staff report, I was involved in the ordinance amendments. So when I read the staff report, I thought, oh, you're kidding me, we changed that? And I think at the time, what we were thinking when we changed the allowance of the architectural elements to encroach into the setback, we said it needed to be 3 feet above grade or the finished floor. We were speaking mainly to bay windows, where there's the tendency for bay window to be put on the wall and then stuff under it and becomes, usable space in the setback. I think this was kind of an oversight, and so, my first thought was, well, does this fit within the allowed encroachments of landings? Because now we do allow a covered landing to encroach 3 feet into your front setback, just to provide a place, an entryway into your home or business out of the shelter. And so when I saw this, I thought, oh, shoot. But I think it is an appropriate improvement. It enhances the building, the upgrades to the site. It's going to be a significant benefit. And so I believe I can make the findings that it is an appropriate improvement for the lot. It doesn't increase the floor area in the setback. It doesn't intensify the use, and approve your project. Again, same 10-day appeal period applies to this project, and the Planning Commission has the oversight authority. And if they were to call us up, or we received an appeal, Ms. Malazzo would contact you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm taking all the plans.
I know, that's okay.
Okay, the next project is at 1604 Loma Street. Hi.
Hello. Information on that plan. The project site is a little over 10,000 square feet, having frontage both on Loma Street and California. Triangular in shape, the front portion where the development occurs is zoned R2, but there is a back part of the lot zoned E1. Several years ago, plans were proposed for the project for a major remodel on the existing dwelling. During the course of construction, things happened and complete demolition of the structure actually occurred. During the rebuild, it was brought to our attention that there may have been some alterations to portions of the building that were non-conforming as to its front yard setback. And after much investigation and series of plans and documents, which were quite difficult due to the fact that we had no original construction plans for the previous dwelling, it was determined that right here. This element of the house had actually gotten slightly larger. Small walls had been added here, which changed the original pitch, which is shown here in the yellow highlight, to what is shown here in the purple. Although the height increase is minimal, it does widen this architectural element located in the front yard setback, and therefore constituted an alteration to the non-conforming building and needed a modification in order to remain so that these folks could finish construction on their house. Other areas that had been altered have been remedied. No other alterations are occurring within either the 15-foot front for the single-story portions or the 20-foot portion located up on the second-story level. And staff is asking for support of this alteration in that it does not add new square footage. It is more of an architectural improvement to what was previously there, very minor in nature, and does not intensify the floor area or cause impacts to the immediate neighborhood. So we are asking for approval of this alteration as it currently exists.
So this plan right here, Roxanne, is the outline of the existing, or what was existing house?
Yeah, and the new one, and the one that's there.
Okay, and then, wait, just a second. And then, so this area here,
Meets the 15-foot front yard setback. Okay, and this is a single-story element. It previously came in with a new floor. The floor has been taken out, so this is just an entry tower, meaning a one-story element, which requires a 15-foot setback. So the alterations to that are acceptable. They do meet the setbacks
okay, so
required
when
for
you
new
walk in,
development.
it's open to the ceiling?
You're going to walk in here. It'll be
Oh,
open
that's
to
right,
the
there's a
ceiling.
garage under here.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, the plans were hard, what I received, hard to understand where exactly the alterations were occurring.
This is a survey as well that was provided, and as you could see, the existing house is 13 feet. That second-story element is non-conforming to the 20-foot front yard setback. This is where the alteration occurred, and again, little crib walls slightly widening that dormer.
So the previously existing house, it was non-conforming to the first floor setback, but the second floor conformed?
No, it was non-conforming
Okay, so all of it
as
was-
well.
The footprint is identical to the original house, along with the first floor and second floor. Both were existing in the original house.
Okay. If you guys would like to state your name in association with the project.
My name is Alex Ugrick. I'm representing the owners, Kieran Maloney and Amy Maloney, who is here with me.
Okay.
I'm also responsible for the design, or the redesign, of the current redesign of the project.
Okay.
Basically, what I'd like to add is that this project was originally approved, permit issued, in this configuration with these additional cripple walls on that second floor. When this became an issue is when we came back with a redesign of the front, basically all four elevations of the exterior of the structure, to add some architectural interest and detail to it. At that time is when it was discovered that this portion of the house is actually taller than the original structure. However, it was built under the permit that was issued. The height at these corners is identical to what was on the permitted set of plans. The difference being, for some reason, the carpenters framed this roof at a 10 and 12 pitch rather than a 12 and 12 pitch that was specified on the original drawings. That's indicated by this upper line here, this set of dotted lines. The dotted lines up above indicate the permitted set of plans. The highlighted area below indicates, to our best estimation, since we didn't have any surveys or original drawings from the existing house, this is where the roof line was on the original house. The purple lines here indicate where we are in the field, including the cripple walls that were added on the second floor under the original permit, and then the change in the roof slope, which actually brought the highest point of the roof down to a point almost equal to the original house, approximately 3 inches taller than the original house. So the only areas that have actually increased in height are at the two corners of this bedroom, which is over the living room within that front yard setback. These two wedge-shaped areas are the areas that are in question as far as needing the modification, being that they're a change from what the original structure was.
So the field change wasn't all of it, the field change was just the slope of the roof?
The field change was the slope of the roof.
Okay.
The height at the corners here, or the plate line, is actually the same as what was shown on the original permit set of drawings.
Okay.
And then we looked at other options to remedy this, but it'd be an extreme financial hardship to essentially take this roof off and reframe that entire area because it involves the roof line behind it. This ridge line here is actually behind that. This element ties into that roof. So in order to make any changes at that point, it would involve reframing that entire area.
So per this drawing, though, it looks like the whole house got height got reduced, right?
Yeah, this is the height based on the approved set of drawings, the construction drawings. So that the solid line is where we are because of the field change regarding the decrease in roof slope from a 12 and 12 to a 10 and 12.
Okay. That's my questions. I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anybody here who'd like to address the staff hearing officer? Seeing no one. I would like to note that there were 9 letters attached to the staff report. 8 of them were in favor, and there was 1 opposed. It appears, though, were these letters submitted to me, or were they submitted for the ABR? Do you know?
They were submitted by the applicant
Okay, just
for
as
you
part. Okay.
recently.
Okay. And so I'll close the public hearing. I visited the site and I read the staff report, and like I said, initially I was confused on what area the mod was requested for, because on the plans that I had, this area was circled here, but then I received this that had this, so I was just, I had some concerns, and I asked, if the original plans could be brought today, just so I can get an understanding of what exactly was going on. But Ms. Milazzo did a good job of describing what the request was, and then some areas where it's shown in the setback, there are overhangs versus actual building encroachments. Since it is such a minor change, the height, overall height's just 3 inches, and at the ridge, and it's a little higher in this area. What was it? Did you say 18 or?
Approximately 18 inches.
Yeah, given the minor height change, I think it is supportable. It doesn't result in intensification of the house. This portion here, the changed roof doesn't really change the massing much. And so I make the findings outlined in the staff report and approve your project.
Thank you.
And like I said, the other projects, it has the 10-day appeal period where interested party could appeal it, or the Planning Commission has oversight authority, and they routinely look at my actions in the agendas, and if they feel this warrants a discussion by them, they have the authority to pull it up during that same 10-day appeal period. And if that were to happen, Ms. Milazzo would contact you. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure. And that concludes the meeting. I adjourn.